So this is all based on how Linda's making money doing certain things. And here's our equations, okay? I'm not going to graph this. Here's what I'm going to do. Problem says circle all the ordered pairs below, L, comma, B, that are in the solution set. All right, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up Desmos. Here we go. Make that smaller. Okay, let me make this large enough so you can see it. Okay. All right, and I'm going to type in this stuff. So the first inequality says 15L plus 10B. So I'm going to type that in. 15L plus 10B. Oop. I'm going to do capital to match the problem. Okay. Now I can't do the inequality symbol. Okay, but that's fine. I'm just going to do 15L plus 10B. And then here I'm going to do L plus B. I want to do capital. L plus B. Okay. And then these two just say L is greater than 0, B is greater than or equal to 0. And all of these satisfy that, right? Like in all of these, all the numbers are 0 or greater. Okay, so notice my calculator doesn't know what to do. It's like, what are you trying to tell me to do? Because I haven't told it what to use for L and B. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say L equals, B equals, and then I'm just going to try these points. Okay, so like the first point is 4, 4. So I'm going to say, all right, L equals 4, B equals 4. Okay, now I just need to check if my answers satisfy this. So this first one says if it's greater than or equal to 120. So is this greater than or equal to 120? No. So guess what? I'm not going to circle that. That's not going to work because it didn't even satisfy the first one. Okay, this next one says 4, 8. So let me take B and make it 8. All right, let me check and see if it works. Is this first one greater than or equal to 120? Yes, cool. Is this one less than or equal to 30? Yes, 12 is less than or equal to 30. So you know what that means? I can circle this answer. This answer satisfies my inequalities. Okay? And then I can just do this for all of them. So 2 and 10. Whoops, forgot to put 2 there. Okay, so let's see. Does it satisfy the first one, 130? That is, yeah, that's good. Is this less than or equal to 30? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to circle 210. And then 620. 620. All right, 290. Is that greater than or equal to 120? Yes. Less than or equal to 30? 26. Yes. That one also works. Okay. Then I got 0, 0. No, 0 is not greater than or equal to 120. So I will not be circling 0, 0 because it does not work for that first one. Okay, but 12, 20. Let me try that one. 12, 20. All right, check the first one. Is that greater than or equal to 120? Yes. Is this one less than or equal to 30? No. Okay, so I will not be circling that one. Okay. Now I'm going to try 12, 16. All right, first one, yes. Second one, also yes. So I'm going to circle that. And 16, 16. Let's see. All right, does this one work? Yes, greater than or equal to 120, but is this one less than 30? No. So it's just those 4. Okay? Did I do the problem the way I was supposed to? Absolutely not. But it's okay, because I'm just trying to get the right answer. All right, let's see what our bingo card. There's our next bingo card image. If you got it, mark it. All right, I'm going to do one more before we do the next one. Here's another one. Next bingo card image, if you got it.
One more.
I will, after I do the next one. All right, moving on to another system. Okay. All right, this one's about Michael. He's shopping for clothes. He needs to buy an equal number of shirts and ties, blah, blah, blah. basically, this is our system, okay? It says, using the system below, determine how many shirts, ties, and pants he purchased. So I have to solve this. Oh, look, there's 3 equations, and I have 3 variables. You know what I'm going to use to solve it? A matrix, okay? I'm going to do a matrix. So before I get a calculator, let me fill out my matrix. So I know this last equation is the last one, but I'm going to put it first because it's the only one I have that has all the numbers in it, all the variables. So I'm going to make that go first. So 35, and then 25, and then 40, and then line, and 560. Whoops. So it looks like I have S, T, P, equal sign, and then our constant number on that side. Okay, so I've got 2 other equations that I have to make work. So remember, I'm putting just the coefficient. So for S, my coefficient is 1. For T, I got T, but it's on the wrong side of the equal sign. So if it moves, it'll be negative, right? Remember this? So I'll put -1 for T. There is no P whatsoever in this top equation, so it gets a 0. And do we have a constant number? No, so that one gets a 0 as well. And then I'm going to do this equation. Same thing, S is 1. There is no T whatsoever in this equation, so it gets a 0. And then P, we have a 4P, but it's on the wrong side. So when it goes on the correct side, what will it be? -4. And then I don't have any constant, okay? So now I need my matrix calculator, which, oh my gosh, I don't have ready to go. Let me open my matrix calculator. Matrix calculator, Desmos. Okay, Google, bring me to the right place. Thank you. All right, let me bring this out. Here we go. All right, so let's do this here. So, review. We go to new matrix. We tell the calculator how many rows, how many columns. I have 3 rows, 4 columns, and then we type it in, right? 35. Whoops. Don't do what I just did. Don't hit enter, because if you hit enter, it's going to mess it up. 560. And then here I got 1, -1, 0, 0, and then here I got 1, 0, -4, 0. Okay, now I can hit enter. All right, then y'all remember the button that does all the magic? Right. RREF, bottom left, yep, RREF, and then I gotta call it what its name is. It's called A, so that was default. All right, and then I got this as an answer, 882. So what does that mean? Well, we go in order. The first column was S, right? So S equals 8. The second column was T, so T equals 8. Well, that makes sense. Shirts and ties. If you wear a shirt and a tie, it should match, right? And then the last one is pants. Oh, he's only got 2 different pairs of pants? I guess he's not washing them every day. We'll just say that. He's just going to, like, wear them dirty. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Maybe, you know, I guess I'll, like, write the word. 8 ties and 2 pairs of pants. Okay, now you don't have to worry about labeling your answer correctly because it's multiple choice, right? Yeah. Most of it's multiple choice. There's a couple where you just type in an answer, but again, you don't have to worry about that. All right, you remember all that? All right, let's do a couple more images. Let's see, here's our next one. Eggnog? Ooh, that sounds good. I need to go buy some eggnog. I know it's so weird, like who drinks egg? Okay, and we'll do one more. Pajamas? The little girl wearing the pajamas? Okay. Okay. So, keeping with the whole matrix thing, number 3, Jocelyn wants to solve the system represented in the matrix below using Gaussian elimination. This is basically elimination meets matrix, okay? Her first row operation is to add -2 times row 1 to row 2. And this is what that looks like in row command form. What is the resulting matrix after this first step? Okay, all this stuff is like, think of yourself like a computer program. Like if you do computer programming, you type in a command, the computer does it, right? It outputs what you tell it to do. So we're being told to do this. Add -2 times row 1 to row 2. Okay, so what is the row that I am changing? I am changing row 2. So that means I am not changing rows 1 or 3. So this tells me I'm changing rows 2. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy down rows 1 and 3 as is. Row 1 and row 3 don't change. I'm just making a note here. So let's just copy them down as is. So 1 is 1, 2, 3, -7. And row 3 is this, -6, -8, 1, -22. Okay? But row 2 is going to change, and the command is telling me to do this. Take -2 times row 1 plus row 2. This is elimination, just streamlined. So we didn't call it really rows. We just worked with it as equations. Okay? So let's take all of row 1 times -2, and I'm just going to write that down. So this is what -2 times row 1 is. Whoops, -2 times row 1. So I'm going to multiply all of these numbers by -2. So -2 times 1 is -2. -2 times 2 is -4. -2 times 3 is -6. And -2 times -7 is +14. Okay, then what is the command telling me to do? I'm going to add that to row 2. So right underneath these numbers, I'm going to copy down what row 2 is, because then I'm going to add these numbers together. So row 2 is just these numbers. So I'm going to write that down. 2, -3, -5, and 9. Okay, so my new row 2 that I'm going to put here is going to be what I get when I add these numbers together. Okay, so I'm going to add -2 and 2, and what do I get? -2 plus 2, 0. So I'm going to put a 0 right there. And then -4 plus -3. That's -7. And then -6 plus -5. -11. 14 plus 9. That's 23. And that's all I need to do. That's it. That's all it was asking me to do. Okay? Now, those of you who are in K, you know that there's a whole lot more that goes on here, right? Yeah, that's where we're stopping. That's all we're doing. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, now, let's look at what did we do? We followed the command, but why did we do that? Here's why we did that. Look at what we just did. We eliminated the number that was in this spot, right? We started off with a number there, and we just eliminated it. We made it into 0. Now, if we kept this going, eventually we would get to something that looks like this, RREF. And in K, that's what we did. In K, we went all the way through. But all we need to know is, like, generally, how do you eliminate a variable? And we know we eliminate a variable by creating a 0 pair. And that was the whole point of this, was to create that 0 pair. Okay? All right, before I do the next one, let me do one more image. Here we go. Here's an image for your bingo card.
Yup.
Bingo already? Okay, I was going to say. Oh, no. Sledding. Okay, I'm going to do 2 after this next question. I know, I only did 1 for that one, but I'll do 2 after this next one. All right, number 4. For the given augmented matrix, describe a reasonable first step in the Gauss elimination process. Okay, so this is like a backwards of the original question. The first question told us what to do, and it told us to do this to make a 0 right here. Okay, so I want to create a 0 right here. So how could I create a 0 there? What number in the same row would help me make a 0 pair with 5? Does 1 help me do that, or does 2 help me do that? I want to create a 0 pair. So can I multiply 1 by something to make a 0 pair with 5? Yeah, I can multiply 1 by -5. I can't multiply 2 by anything that's going to cancel out the negative, or cancel out the 5. Okay, so here's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put, what row is this 1 sitting in? This is in row 1. So I'm going to put multiply row 1 by -5 and add it to row 2. Why am I going to do that? Because that's what's going to make a 0 pair. We mostly talked about this in terms of the whole equation. This is just looking at it with 1 number. I want a 0 pair right there. This is what I do. Is there more to this story? Yes. But are we going to do it? No. Okay. Let me give you 2 more images.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh.
That's it. That's it. All right. Image 1.
A mistletoe, you don't know what a mistletoe is?
Mistletoe. All right, next image. Ice skater.
Bunny, one more.
I need 2 more.
All right.
Do one more.
I will. I'm going to do some after these. Okay. All right, now we're going to go to regression. So movies in the United States make billions of dollars. The chart below shows movie revenue for certain years. Find the linear regression. This is now so easy because Desmos basically does everything for you, right? So here's how we do this. All right, I'm going to create a table. Remember how to create a table? You do plus sign table. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, let me get rid of these guys. All right, X is going to be our years, so that goes 0 to 9, right? Look it already knows that's what I want to do. And then my Y's, these are billions of dollars. So 5.29, 6.51, 7.3, 8.13. This is test 1. Y'all remember this? All right, and then after we type it in, we can hit the little zoom fit. Okay, and then the quick way to get Desmos to do what we want. See this little button? Literally says add regression. We hit that. We want linear regression. Boom, there we go. All right. Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to write down the equation, and it's not telling us how to round. So let's go to 3 decimal places, okay? Because that's probably what they're going to do. All right, 3 decimal places. So let's copy this down. So y equals, and we got to know where to look, right? Where it says, literally says equation. So 0.533.
3.
Isn't that what it says?
That's 3. Wait.
I think it's 3.3. I think it's 3.3. Unless I typed in a number wrong, I think it's 3.3. Okay.
You're right.
Plus 6.188. Plus 6.188. because that last 7, if I'm rounding to that place, that there's an 8 behind it that will kick up my 7 to an 8. Okay, use your regression equation to predict the movie revenue in the year 2010. Okay, well, to understand this, we have to go back to the problem. This is saying years since 1995. So how many years after 1995 is the year 2010? I feel so old at the moment. I think that's 15 years. Right? 15 years? Okay, so now I got to figure out when X is 15. So unfortunately, because it's given in the table that this is years since 1995.
Oh, okay.
So 2010 would be 15. So I need to know when X is 15. So you know what? I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to use my rounded to figure this out. So I'm going to put 0.533 times 15 plus 6.188. So all I did there was plug in 15 into X for my rounded equation, and it gives me this. All right, movie revenue. So I got to know what that means. That does not mean that the movies brought in $14 that entire year. It means it brought in $14.18 billion. Where am I getting billion from? Right here. So it's important to look at the table and know what it is what the problem's talking about. It's billions of dollars. Okay? And why did I choose to make this one round to 2 places? Because I look at my table and all the other revenues are in 2 places. Okay. Next 2. Let's see what we got. Oh. Chestnuts. And Christmas lights. Anybody have a bingo? Oh, we're so close. Okay. I'll do it after this next set. I know. All right, let's look at number 6. All right, number 6 says a function, g of x, is represented on the graph below along with the line y equals 2. So that's what this is. This is the line, I'm going to label it y equals 2. What is the solution set of g of x equals 2? So basically, I'm looking where does the function g of x intersect my line y equals 2. So it's right here and right here. Okay, so I want to know the x's. I want to know what are those x values. So that looks like 2, and what's the other one? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 and 7. Because I'm looking at the x values. Oh, this is very blurry. Try to make that look a little better. Okay. All right, next question. What is the solution set of g of x is greater than or equal to 2? So what I want to know is where is this function above the line? Okay, so I want to know when is it above the line. So our function is above the line here, right? And here. But for my answer is only the x's. So if I look at this like on a horizontal number line, let's translate this to a horizontal number line. It looks like this, right? It would just be on the outsides of these endpoints, right? Because it's here and out. So what are these numbers again? They were 2 and they were 7. So my answer would be all x's such that x is less than or equal to 2, or x is greater than or equal to 7, because it's in our 2 chunks. sometimes, I think we also learned interval notation for this. So, in other words, from negative infinity up to 2. And that's a closed circle, so it gets a bracket. And then I have another chunk, so union that with 7 to infinity. Okay, so there's 2 ways we could see our answer. When you do this on the TEKS test, it'll be multiple choice, so you won't have to construct the answer yourself, okay? But you'll have to know that it's the one that's the outside, so it's two intervals. Okay? Okay, now C and D are asking about just g of x itself. It says, what is the domain? So that just means, what are all the x values possible in this graph? Well, remember, this was a freebie. Look left to right. In left, I run into an arrow. To the right, I run into an arrow. So that means all real numbers, or negative infinity to infinity. Okay, range, that's asking me for the y values. So remember, I look at this bottom to top. So I find the bottom of my graph. Bottom of my graph is right here. Top of my graph is right here. The bottom, I have a point. And what's that y value? Right here, it is negative 1, 2, 3. So my range goes from negative 3 up to, what's the top? Well, I run into an arrow. What does arrow mean? Infinity. So it's negative 3 to infinity. Or I would say y is greater than or equal to negative 3. Again, you would just have to be able to pick the right answer. You don't have to worry so much about writing it. Okay, let's do 2 more. Let's see what we got. House.
Bro,
I freaking got it.
House. Okay, and second image. Bow.
Hey!
All right. No bingos yet?
I have a house, but it doesn't look the same as that one.
Okay, I have 2 houses because there's another house in here.
Bingo in different houses.
Oh. Okay, well, there would have to be this house, and one of them is like a gingerbread. Someone, if you have a bingo, you got to say it. You have a bingo? All right, come on up. Show me your card if you got all these things, and you can pick something. Okay. Oh, diagonal? All right.
No, she
Yay, you good? Take one. Then you can keep playing. Okay. No, we're still going. I have plenty. Everybody can get a bingo if we play that much. Okay. Number 7. Table shows some values from an absolute value function. What is the solution set of h of x equals 3? All right, equals 3. H of x equals 3. So find where h of x equals 3. Right here and right here. Okay? Now, we want the x's. That's where the solution set is going to be. So those corresponding x's are negative 2 and 1 in a solution set, 'cause those are the answers. All right. Now, the second part of this question says, what is the solution set of h of x is greater than or equal to 3? Greater than. Greater. So where are these h of x numbers bigger than 3? It's either going to be in between or on the outsides. Well, in between, these are less than 3. So the graders are on the outsides, right? Okay, so I just use those x's. One of them's negative 2, one of them's 1, and it's going to be on the outsides. So this is what it looks like on a number line. This is where my solutions are. Now I just have to write that, right? So it's on the outside. So I'm just going to do the interval notation because I don't have a whole lot of room. So the first interval, we run into an arrow, which means, and it's pointing to the left, so negative infinity, up to negative 2, bracket, because I include negative 2, right? But I have another interval, so I have to draw U to join them together. And this will be bracket 1, and then that one is going into infinity. Okay? All right. Basically, it was the same question, just with the table. All right. How about this nutcracker dude?
Well, no one has that one.
No one has that one. You should pull another one.
I am. I'm going to do 2. And that cute little owl wearing a little beanie.
I have that one.
Oh, yeah. Good question.
We go to lunch in like 10 minutes, okay? All right, number 8. Number 8. Okay, we're not going to do this algebraically. I'm so sorry. I know we're not. We're going to do this. I'll do the second one algebraically, but this one I'm going to do on Desmos. Okay? Write your solution and graph on a number line if necessary. Okay, so I'm going to, how do I put this in Desmos? I take the left side and I do y equals that. So I'm going to open Desmos. Whew, it's jumped up. All right, so I'm going to do y equals 3 absolute value of x minus 1. Whoops, 1, Genzer. And then here I'm going to do y equals 9. So, and then the right side, also y equals. Okay. And then I got to know, what do I even want here? What do I even want? Well, look at your symbol. This is a less than symbol, which means I want the part that is below that line. Okay? So, first I'm going to see where they intersect. They intersect when x is 2 and when x is 4. Just kidding, negative 2. So negative 2 and 4. I'm not counting the appropriate amount of spaces. I don't really care. Okay? Open circles because I'm not including them because there's no equal to in my symbol. And where is our function below the line? It's either going to be in between the endpoints or on the side. This time, it's below is in between, right? So it's this area, right in between. So now I just have to state that, and I'm going to use interval notation because it's quicker. So when I don't include the endpoint, we get a parentheses. So negative 2, 2, 4, parentheses. If they were closed circles, I would be using the brackets. Okay? All right. Let's do one before we do the next one. So here's your, whoops, you can't see it. There it is. The star. Yeah. No, that's a cookie star. This is like, I know, this is like the legit, like, North Star, the Wise Men Star. The other one is a cookie. I know, sorry. All right, let's do this one algebraically. This one's an equation. All right, so if we remember how to do these, now I can just type this in as well, but I'm actually going to show you how to do this one. We isolate the absolute value, so I don't split yet, I add 1. So absolute value of 2x equals 5 plus 1 is 6. Then, now that my absolute value is isolated, then I split into positive and negative paths. So my positive path looks like 2x equals 6. My negative path looks like negative 2x equals 6. So then what are my answers? Well, I would divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And in my other one, I would divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Okay? Now, I can also check on the calculator. Remember, I would do the left side in the first y, so absolute value of 2x minus 1. And then this one would be y equals 5. And we see, where do they intersect? Oh, look, the x's are -3 and +3. Okay? All right, let's see what our next symbol is, or our next thing is.
Well, what is that?
That is a lump of coal.
Ronnie, one more. Get the sugar.
Lump of coal. All right. All right, let's look at number 9. I know. We'll do a few. We'll do one after. So there's 3 of these. We'll do one after each one. Okay. All right. So number 9 says, complete the missing information in the table below. A blank grid is provided if you need it. Okay. So here's our equation: y equals 1/12 x squared. What's the vertex? Okay. Remember this. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Our vertex is hk. So in this one there is no h or k. So our vertex must be 0, 0. Then it says focus. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. So if this is our vertex, remember the focus. Oh, we can also look at this as y equals 1/4c times x minus h squared plus k. Right? Mm-hmm. So we got to know c. So look at our problem. So if 1/12 is 1/4c, what is c? Just divide 12 by 4. 4 times what makes 12? 3. So our c is 3. So if this is my vertex, I'm going to count 3 units up. That's my focus. What is that, 0, 3?
Yeah.
And then it wants the axis of symmetry. So axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. That's x equals 0. Axis of symmetry. And it already gave me the directrix, so I don't need that. Okay. All right, let's see. Here's our next image.
Bro, it's not even Christmas.
Lots of people eat turkey for Christmas.
Did you eat turkey for Christmas?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you buy them when they're on sale for Thanksgiving. You got bingo! All right, let me see.
Oh, what do you mean it's turkey for Christmas?
Oh, the turkey did it for you. All right, good job. Pick one, and you can keep mine.
I'm so mad.
I see red.
All right, let's look at this one. Okay, y'all, I told you that I would be doing this the express way, right? So I would never teach it to you this way, but here's how I'm going to teach you to do this one. We're going to type this in. We're going to type in this equation. Y equals x squared plus 10x plus 23. And I'm going to find the vertex. It is, whoop, there she is. -5, -2. Okay, these are x'd out. It's telling me, hey, don't worry about giving that information for this one. Axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. X equals -5. Yes, all right. Let's see, let me go to the bottom of the bowl for this one.
Can I think one up?
What do we got?
Can I look at the headline?
Oh,
Please, bro, please, no.
fireplace.
Oh, this has to be really cute. It's so
Fireplace.
Come on, miss.
We have bingo 3 times.
Bro,
All right.
bro.
Let's do this one. This one, we don't know the equation. Okay, but they gave us the vertex is 2, 4. All right, I'm going to have to draw this one to figure it out. Okay, vertex is 2, 4. Okay, that's the vertex. Focus is 2, 2. Okay, so the focus is below the vertex. So I counted, there's 2 units in between the vertex and the focus. So the directrix is 2 units up. So this is the directrix, this line right here. And what is that line? That line is y equals 6. Axis of symmetry goes through the vertex, so that's x equals 2. Okay, now I don't need to graph the rest of this. all I really need to know to write the equation, I have H, I have K, I just need C. What is C? What does C equal? Count from your vertex to your focus. How many units? 2 units. But since the focus is underneath, it's not 2, it's -2. So my equation, put it all together, y equals -1/4c. So what's 4 times 2? That's 8. And then my h is, where am I getting 8? I'm getting 8 4c. c is -2. So 4 times 2 is 8. X minus h, so x minus what is h? H is 2 squared, and what's k? 4. There's my equation. All right. All right, let's see, what do we got? Reindeer. I'm going to do another one. Cookies and milk. And milk. You can't just have a star cookie. It's the cookies and the milk. All right. I'm going to do one after each of these, okay? All right. Penny dropped from a tower. Function represents the height in feet. H of the penny, t seconds after it was dropped. Blah, blah, blah. There's the equation. Sketch the graph. Okay, so let's just type it in real quick. We're going to type in y equals -16x squared plus 76. All right. Whoa. A lot going on. All right. So we just want the positive part because this is like time. You can't have negative time. So basically we have the top. What's the top? 76. And it looks like this.
Why are you kicking my chair? Why are you so angry for? Breathe, bro.
Okay. And where does it hit the ground? What's the time it hits the ground? Let's see. 2.18. There's my sketch. Isn't it so accurate? Isn't it so great? Thank you. All right, so what do we got? We got Mrs. Claus. It is Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus. All right, what is a reasonable domain for this situation? Domain is your x values. So in our case, this is time. So let me get rid of this Desmos for a second. What is a reasonable domain? Well, our time has to begin at 0, right?
Yeah.
And the longest, the story is over when the penny hits the ground. And the penny hits the ground at time 2.18. Or in interval notation, it would look like this, bracket 0, 2.18. All right. What do we got? Gingerbread man.
Bingo! I think I'm bingo.
Where?
I'll show you.
Oh, across.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you did.
Oh, you just stole my card.
All right. Range. Reasonable range. What's a reasonable range? Let's see. That's height. So that one's going from 0. What's the highest point of the story? Is where the penny starts. The penny starts at 76. So 0 to 76. Okay.
I'm not even touching it.
All right. Let's see.
On your mom right now.
Bingo! Ultra bingo!
We got a bingo. All right, give me the box.
Wait. Wait. I got nothing here.
You got bingo, Alexa? All right, come get you. Oh, thank you for putting it in color. That is so easy to see. Thank you. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to do one more. For what approximate time values will the height of the penny be less than 50 feet? Oh, I need my graph for this. Y equals 50. Y equals 50. Good. All right, so So before this time, it's higher. It's falling. So from 1.27 time to when it hits the ground. And it hits the ground at what, 2.18? So, or you could write it as 1.27 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to 2.18. Okay, what do we got?
Put 5 cards. For like 3.
Christmas pudding.
First, we can't see it.
Oh, okay.
Nothing I need.
Okay, or a poinsettia.
Oh, miss. You literally.
You got another bingo? All right, I'm doing one last one. Okay, if you got a bingo, come up. Last one. That was the bell. All right. All right, take your review sheet, y'all. Take your review sheet and turn it into the tray. Okay? I am giving you a grade for this. Turn in your review sheet. All right, cool. Good. Get a prize. Oh my gosh.
These for both of us.
Hey, can I borrow your card?
All right. Cool. Okay, turn it into the tray. Turn it into the tray. Not the bingo card. I'm talking about the work.